news, everyone! I am out of South America. Let's see what the next one on the list is. Oh no. No! Anyway, here we are. British Malaya. Well, British for now. I'm gonna play this without mods. A pure vanilla run, all DLC enabled. Iron Man mode on with historical AI focuses. I know a lot of you guys complain about this, but I want to turn this into a bit of a guide, if you will. And I like historical focuses, so it's my video. Let's go. Cannot get achievements because I'm still running the members mod, which means every one of our channel members gets a division named after them, assuming I produce enough divisions, so let's go. British Malaya. Not much here. Let's see. No national spirits. We're an integrated puppet. Basic focus tree. Small army. Virtually no industry to speak of. No military industry at all, but we do have a whole lot of resources. So this is our strength this run. We have a lot of resources, so let's get going. You know, I've been playing strategy games for decades now. I've played so many titles and franchises, but one that's always stuck with me stands out. I'll let you guess. Close, but not Age of Empires. StarCraft? Nah, I never really liked that. Command and Conquer. Boom. Jackpot. Now guess who's releasing a new title? I'm sure you've got this. And you're right again. Command and Conquer Legions is sponsoring today's video to celebrate their upcoming release. I love Command and Conquer. I wasted hours on Tiberian Sun and Red Alert. I can still remember the voice lines vividly. And I'm happy to see a new take on a Command & Conquer universe. Command & Conquer Legions offers a deep exploration of the IP, not just in the game setting, but the art style and its iconic characters as well. Kane is back, baby. The game features the classic and iconic heroes and units we all know and love, and offers you that sweet warfare experience we all crave. And all that for a mobile title. That is pretty sweet. What I like about Command & Conquer Legions is that you have to adapt your tactics in response to the terrain you find yourself in. The key to winning battles is fully utilizing the terrain advantage you have. What's also interesting is that you can join alliances, collaborate with other players, and participate in various events like alliance wars, cross-server battles, get a little bit of competition from other players and alliance. As a strategy game, developers have tried to retain those core RTS elements like unit types, different tactics you have to use, hero units in their designs to provide a more RTS-like gaming experience, while at the same time adding some unique gameplay elements like airdrop troops to also bring some innovative experiences to players. Check the game out. It's currently open for testing in the regions on screen right now. Download Command & Conquer Legions via the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen and get a special gift code from me, which goes for about $30, so hurry up. What am I going to do as British Malaya? Well, first off, I want to click this button, Reform the Thalassocracy, which will turn us into the Greater Indonesian Confederacy. What is this? The Majapahit Empire? The Majapahit Empire, that's the one. And to do that, we need to do some things, which is, first of all, grab political effort. We know where this is going. We'll do the basic research, nothing too fancy for now. But I am hoping to have a bit of a naval game this run, so we might mess about with that. I'm also going to delete my army and put a single division in a training queue without a location set. That means we keep that unit in the bank. All right, production, we might as well make the new guns. We're not making any guns anyway. Focus on that. Like I said, construction, just military factories for now, and we're off to the races. There's really not a whole lot going on this first part of the game. To form the Majapahit Empire, we need all the Malayan and the Dutch East Asian states. So this is pretty much gonna come down to conquering Dutch East Asia, Dutch East India, the Dutch East Indies, that's the one, which is relatively easy. However, my old strategy, I've made videos on this before, no longer works. I can't join the Axis even if I were to be a brown shirt, because the modifier doesn't show up now, but it will in a bit. There's a distance modifier. The further you are away from the faction leader, the more difficult it is to join. It's like a minus 220 modifier before world tension starts ticking up, so they will never let you in until World War II starts. However, there are other ways to get to the Netherlands, and I will show you. There you go, political effort done. Let's grab industrial effort. We have two options. We either go fascist or we go communist. Now, it doesn't matter too much, but I have some conquering to do, and as a fascist nation, it's a whole lot easier than as a communist nation, mostly because it's so much faster to justify war goals. I apologize, so We're gonna go for the tried and true method of being a brown shirt. Now, what are we gonna do? We are obviously going to flip, which means we need to hoard some political power. And then we're gonna have a chat with our friends in Spain. There's only one Spain here now, but there will be two. And those two Spains are gonna fight each other. We are going to justify a war goal on the Republicans, declare war on the Republicans, use that to get military access from the nationalists, and use that military access to naval invade from the port of La Coruña into the Netherlands. We'll also ask the Germans for naval access. They won't give us military access, but they will give us naval access. Now, why do I need to do all of those convoluted things? It's simple. First off, we need to get the military access, but even if there was another way to get the military access, you can only invade from a neutral country's port if A, they are in your faction, which they won't be, or B, the host country is also at war. They don't have to be at war with the same target, but they do need to be at war, which they will be fighting themselves. So that is the trick of it, really. Let's keep the industry going. I like to grab improved machine tools. And now we're going to go with naval effort because we're going to spark a little civil war here, and our country is going to be split between Singapore and North Borneo. And I don't want those people in North Borneo thinking they can get away with being independent. So I will need to get some ships to invade. Quickest way to get some ships is to do naval effort. And we have 150 political power, and this is where the fun begins. We're going to start with anti-communist raids. Always a good thing. Shoot the communists. Then we're going to prepare for civil war, because why not? And then we're going to ignite the civil war. That's why we did the anti-communist thing, just to drop our stability far enough so we could spark a civil war. Besides, the stability hit is temporary. Now we are at war with ourselves. We're going to add another unit to the queue, give them a location, in this case Singapore, force deploy that unit, and get the next one out as quickly as possible as well. What I'm going to do now is go fishing for some good generals. So I need to start doing some promotions. Decent. Sweet. So I've got this guy is pretty good with his attack. The other guys are pretty good with logistics and defense. So I'm going to have Kadir Razak as my general, and I will promote the other man with the brilliant strategist. Rashid Maidan can be my field marshal. Great success. And we'll start planning naval invasion. So from Singapore into Kuching, and then as soon as the second division's ready, we'll plan a naval invasion of Brunei itself. We should be fine. All right, the naval effort continues. We will have boats. We will have boats soon. Fortunately, I don't have to research all that much boat tech because we are a descendant of the United Kingdom. We inherit a lot of their tech, which is very valuable. All right, Spain's doing its thing. Great. Naval effort is done. We'll continue now with armament effort all the way through. And let's grab the dockyards. So what are we going to make? We're going to make the best destroyers we can. Well, the best, cheapest destroyer we can. We're just going to slap on light batteries. We could slap on torpedoes once we have them researched, and later we might even add radar as well. But this is a good starting point. It's cheap and it's cost effective. So we will make as many of these as we can. Mostly because, one, we need to get to Brunei, and two, all the naval superiority we can get is going to be very valuable, considering I have plans to conquer our former colonizers. So I will be fighting the French, the British. I plan to fight the Japanese. I plan to fight the Chinese. And if there's time, I plan to fight the Germans, the Italians, and the Americans as well. I will fight everybody and get their ships, or at least let them recognize that Malaya is the true power of this world. Right, before I forget, Spain. Spain's doing its thing. We have plenty of time to spare now. We're going to justify on Manuel Azaña and justify for a province that you're pretty sure the Republicans are going to hold on to. So don't pick anything up near Catalonia. Madrid is usually a good pick, or Murcia down there, Alicante. Let's just go with Madrid. It's cheap, it's easy. 240 days and we'll have another war goal. Don't worry about guarantees. They won't get any. All right, 50 PP. What do I spend it on? A chief of the army, of course, the army offense specialist. So we start getting some army experience ticking in. We've built our first vessel, which means we can put it out to sea. Naval invasion support in these two sea zones. The army, can stop exercising and launch its naval invasion of Brunei. And we should be off to the races straight away. Now, I was exercising these guys, so organization is a little low. I would recommend you not launch a naval invasion with organization this low, but you know, I'm not known for my high intelligence or great skill. Still, it shouldn't be much of an issue. These guys also don't have all that much equipment. They might get some from the UK, but honestly, at most they have like 2 divisions who are very likely nowhere near the front lines. What I like to do here is then hold 1 division in Brunei, because the moment you leave that port, it tends to get captured behind your back. So hold here and use these guys to just take all this territory, and that should be enough to capitulate them. The Navy is no longer required. We're going to use them to gather some much needed naval experience and just set these guys to naval training. Just train, train, train. All right, we can rejoice. The Civil War is over. Our country is reunited. We'll put the army back in Singapore where we found it, and we're going to trade another 8 divisions, bringing us up to a total of 10. 10 glorious madmen who will do the things I want them to do. And I'm actually going to delete this army because I just realized I forgot to set this to the members. I don't want to do this manually. So everyone who is a channel member and who has signed up using that join button down there gets a division named after them. These glorious bastards will be the first 10. Right, with the first bit of naval experience, what I like to do is either hire best of the best, not bad, or academy scholarships, also not bad. I think I want to go with best of the best and then switch this out for something else at a later stage, just because it gives us really good, really cheap early naval leaders. That's why the initial destroyer we hired, who is our first fleet, never got a commander. This way I can get better commanders. They start at level 3 now. We're just going to roll a little bit until we get some good guys out. That'll do. Omar here with 5 attack. Oh, baby. Yeah, that's not bad at all. 5 positioning is also not bad either. We're going to go with Omar, though. I have a feeling Omar will do great things for us. All right, so that is that. With armament effort done, what I like to do is rush from construction effort all the way down to the extra research slots. That's always nice to have. Research slots are pretty great. 150 political power, war economy it is. I'm going to grab flexible contracts. We'll switch out of this eventually, but I'm going to grab it now. And it is very valuable for 2 reasons. 1, you know that ship designer and aircraft designer that all costs 150? Now it costs 30. So you're effectively saving a whole lot of money. And it's also a lot cheaper to design our first cruiser, but we won't be designing that just yet. All right, let's keep trading. The economy is starting to get back onto its feet. I'm also going to add a couple of dockyards to the queue because naval game, I want some boats. I won't need a huge army to do what we want to do. I'll mostly be using elites, so a relatively small amount of divisions that have a great punch, at least until we get to China and I just need the boys to cover the entire front line. All right, justification on Madrid is done. We're quickly going to declare war. Won't actually do anything, but it will allow us to ask for military access from these nationalists. And because we are fascist, Hitler does sort of like us, and we can ask for docking rights. Not military access, though. He doesn't trust us enough, but docking rights are fine, which is good, because that extends the operational range of our navies to, well, pretty much everywhere along the coast of Northern Europe. All right, our army is more or less done, so we have 10 divisions. We're going to keep them exercising for now, but we also have some planning to do. We're going to take 2 units per naval invasion, and we are going to start planning naval invasions from Rotterdam, so this tile, all the way along the coast up to and including Leeuwarden. That should give us something like this with 10 divisions. We can't send over more, and by the time reinforcements would make it, it would be too late anyway, so we don't need to train more units. Let's just prioritize on equipping the ones we have. The Navy can also be sent over to La Coruña. Just sail them over and we can resume training once they get there. Speaking of divisions, this is what we're currently fielding. Not great. So we will be changing this once we get some equipment. Don't worry. I want to bring this up to like 10 with at least with some artillery support, but that is something that we'll have to wait for now. Speaking of artillery support, let's start making some towed artillery. Put 1 factory on there and some support equipment as well. Put a factory on there, but keep the guns rolling out at least. And we have 46 political power. Might be 48 for you depending on world tension, but 46 is the number for us. We're now going to go to the Dutch East Indies. Justify a war goal. Any state will do. It will only generate 1% world tension. The overall world tension is very low still, and we haven't generated all that much world tension, so there will be no guarantees for the Dutch or their East Indies. And in 230 days, we will change the course of history. And because we are at war with the Spanish, who we aren't fighting, and we are fascist, sometimes we get this event, which is super welcome, but kind of random as well. Italy just randomly sending us guns, which is cool, I guess. Does mean I can start changing my templates a little bit. So we're going to add all this, and I'm going to add support artillery as well. And that is pretty much the unit we will use to invade the Netherlands. Glorious, isn't it? So I'm going to start planning and production of our first cruiser. We're going to take the best cruiser hull we can do, currently the 1936 cruiser, slap on a cheap heavy cruiser battery to keep the cost down, the best engine we can fit, the best fire control we can fit, and then up here we are going to take the first slot. We're not going to add anything. We cannot add rapid fire guns. We could add anti-air, but don't really need it. It's a bit on the pricey side anyway, and we don't want more heavy attack from the heavy battery. batteries. Fun fact, you can no longer add these, so the old cruiser meta is dead, but there's a new cruiser meta. Instead, we're going to take these middle 2 slots here, where we can add secondary batteries, and we're going to fit the best secondary battery we can possibly cram in there. 3rd slot, once again, we can't really fit anything here. You could fit aircraft facilities, but I don't need more speed reduction. I don't need all that much surface detection either. It's fine. And then we're also going to add secondary batteries to this bottom slot here. No armor. So what this gives us is a fast cruiser with very little heavy attack, but a reasonable amount of light attack. The purpose of this cruiser is to 1. Shield your eventual aircraft carriers, and 2. Shred, and I do mean shred, the enemy light line, the enemy screens. Once the enemy screens are dead, your destroyers with torpedoes can go in there and kill them, as well as your aircraft carrier planes. And it's reasonably cheap. 4,000 productions, reasonably cheap, I'd say. After we have that built, we are going to continue making more destroyers, but I am going to slap on some torpedoes for the next runs, assuming, you know, we get any. Justification is done. We are simply going to declare war. Well, we can declare war on either of these. Let's declare war on these guys. That's 1% less world tension. Declare the war. Make sure the naval invasion is running before you do. And we are now at war with the Netherlands. I'm going to slow the game down a little bit. And now we have to micro the Netherlands to death, which is going to be relatively easy. You can see the naval invasion is off. There is no Dutch navy to block us. I don't know where they are, but they're not here. And the Dutch army might be there to protect Rotterdam and Amsterdam. But again, they are very likely to have deployed their full army in the Dutch East Indies. You can tell they've already taken a tile, which is irrelevant. The main fighting will be on Dutch home soil, and we're going to have a lot of fun here. The invasion of Rotterdam almost always fails, or at least runs into opposition. They tend to keep a unit on the port of Rotterdam because it is geographically the closest port to you, the enemy, which is fine. The naval invasion there really serves to pin that division into place. All the other tiles tend to land unopposed. As you can see, no opposition in The Hague or the tile next to Amsterdam. All of those are fine. We're going to delete all the front lines. We're going to have these units support the attack into Rotterdam. These units are going to go from Amsterdam to Utrecht and all the way around into Breda, essentially encircling Rotterdam. These units up north will do something similar. These guys will head down from Amsterdam, assist the attack on Rotterdam, and the other guy goes into Utrecht, the tile next to Utrecht, and also assist the attack into Rotterdam. The guys in Leeuwarden are going to split up. Half of them are going to go to the German border, capture all of the territory there, all the way down to Maastricht. The other guys just going to walk south, straight to Utrecht, Eindhoven, Breda, all the way around. Keep the game relatively slow so you know what's going on. Overall, this is definitely not much of a challenge. They have like 2 divisions at home. Everybody else is in the Dutch East Indies where nothing, and I do mean nothing, is going to happen. There we go. Now, what are we going to do? Of course, we're going to take the Dutch fleet. I am a ship collector. We are also going to annex the entirety of the Dutch East Indies, and we are going to puppet Suriname, and we're going to puppet the Netherlands the Dutch Antilles, the Netherlands Antilles, leaving us with the Netherlands itself. Now, depending on what course of action you want to take, you have a couple of options here. One, you can outright annex all of it. That gives you an easy naval base to invade the UK, or access to invading Germany should you want to at some point, and you don't have to worry about the Germans invading a potential Dutch puppet using their focus tree. I'm not going to do that. I am going to personally puppet them. And I'm also going to add war reparations, so I'm going to take all, and I mean all, of their civilian factories as well. So this gives us the best bang for the buck, if you will, but comes with a risk. Confirm and exit. That risk is Germany. Germany is going to run through its focus tree and all the way down here to around Maginot. That gives them a war goal against the current Malaysian Netherlands. If you have annexed the Netherlands, 1, they won't get that war goal, and 2, you will be close enough to Germany that you could join their faction. After that, you could probably release the Netherlands, but you won't be able to access their resources as easily. Now, I personally don't need to do that because I have other plans. Right, the army can stay here for now. I'm going to put them on the border with Germany. I'm going to recruit about 14 additional units. The Navy is going to group up and exercise. I want a nice, tough Navy. It's also a bit bigger now with all the stuff we managed to take from the Dutch, so it's a nice start of things. And that does complete stage 1 of this video. We can now reform the Let's click that button. And Malaysia becomes the Majapahit Empire, giving us cores on all of this pink goodness. But that is just stage 1. We want to dominate the colonizers now. We want payback. And what does that mean? Memory. First off, I'm going to create an intelligence agency. Then I'm going to make sure we are very close friends with the Germans because, for one, I want a non-aggression pact so they won't just invade me, or rather my puppet. And 2, I would like to join the Axis once world tension gets high enough that I can join the Axis. Because right now there's still a penalty for about 124. Not great, but that will get reduced as world tension gets higher. And world tension will be high enough by the time Germany's walking into Poland and trying to walk into France. We're going to use that to join the Axis, launch our own naval invasion of the UK, and have the ultimate vengeance. And we'll use those ships for further shenanigans. But first, let's build an army that can actually do that. We have our work cut out for us. So military factories, dockyards, the works. We're going to ramp this country up so it's ready to go to war. Now we have a little time. I'm also going to start working a little bit on the Air Force. So industry is pretty much caught up, as is the infantry equipment and artillery. And to speed up research, let's add a spirit of the Air Force, industry liaisons. Now I'm going to be cutting a whole lot of footage because it's mostly not interesting. What I will be doing is producing equipment, towed artillery, support equipment, infantry equipment, maybe a little towed anti-air if I can get the production capacity for it, which I can. And then I will also be making as many ships as possible. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, and as soon as I've researched it, it's a carrier or 4. Not to mention just overall building of stuff. Our next target will be the United Kingdom. Like I said, we are going to be best buddies with the German Reich for as long as possible until we can join their faction. We will sign a non-aggression pact as soon as possible, so we will improve our relations and we will put a spy on Germany using diplomatic pressure. Now, if you don't have the spy, you don't have to. You can also just improve your relations. That works just fine. All right, having researched the 1936 carrier, we're going to design one. We're going to build one straight away because obviously I don't have the dockyards to, but let's design one. I want to slap on the maximum amount of hangar space just so I can fit a whole lot of airplanes on there. Anti-air is valuable even for a carrier. Radar, wouldn't bother with it. The best engine you can fit, and nothing in the secondary slot unless you're going for dual purpose who can also shoot at airplanes, and nothing in the armor slot. This thing needs to be fast, carry a lot of airplanes, and defend those airplanes with some pew 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 shooting at the sky. I'm gonna cancel the cruiser, it's not that far into production anyway, and put those into the carrier. Boy, I need a whole lot of steel for this. Fortunately, Germany is willing to pony up, and we're gonna try and get that aircraft carrier produced. No guarantee that it'll actually get done. January 1940, bit late, but maybe. I personally don't like to put anything on there except for carrier naval bombers. What I'm gonna make is a very, 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 very cheap carrier fighter. Cheapest frame, cheapest engine, and just a naval torpedo. That's it. Poland has refused the German ultimatum, so what we're going to do now is get that non-aggression pact. That means we'll have at least a full year before Germany does anything stupid. So what you need to do is just improve your relations and plop down a spy with diplomatic pressure and you're golden. Now I'm going to build a spy network in the UK. Maybe not London, maybe like up here. I like invading near Hull. Our army, meanwhile, I have improved the template up to this. I would like to add on a little bit more artillery, of course, but that will have to wait until I can produce some more. The Navy is looking rather thick-ish for heavy cruisers, a light cruiser, bunch of destroyers, some submarines, and about 6 more months until we get our carrier as well. And we're just gonna wait. Well, that didn't take long. Poland's gone. Okay. All right, Germany has caused enough world tension for the distance to no longer matter as much. You can see it's much, much lower now in that penalty. We're gonna join the Axis for now. It has many, many, many benefits, but mostly that Germany won't attack us straight away. And we're gonna start our preparations. What I'm going to do is prepare a naval invasion from either Hamburg or Wilhelmshaven. I prefer Hamburg because Wilhelmshaven is marshes and your general might get sick. Again, 5 naval invasions, 2 divisions per naval invasion, and I like to target these provinces. 2 divisions to hit Hull, 2 divisions each a tile above and below Hull, so we can encircle the port and ensure we capture it. 2 divisions right beneath Newcastle to either take the port or to cut the Highlands, so Scotland, off from England. And then some divisions down here at this little tippity tip that can either head south or start cutting towards Sheffield, Manchester and Liverpool. Take good local supply that way in case the port takes a while to capture. Everybody else I'm just gonna put on hold here in Leeuwarden. I'm not gonna join any wars just yet because I don't want to die. The army is more or less ready to rock and or roll. Let's join this war. Everything turned green. Enemy supremacy is like virtually gone, so they moved ships. I don't know where they moved their ships to, and I don't particularly care, but it does mean my naval invasion is on its way. Naval invasion support. I'm gonna put the submarines back where I found them so they don't all get sunk, and the boys are on their way. What you do here is immediately delete the front lines here, send one division to help out in Hull, and send the other division into Sheffield, Manchester, Liverpool. The division that lands up top here, these two guys, again, assist in attacking Hull. One division goes south and then pin Hull in from the full encirclement, really. Up there, like I said, these guys just hit Newcastle, and everybody who's still on the shoreline also gets to come across. The full army is committed. The Navy, I'll put on convoy escorts so they don't sink everything that I try to bring into port. The fate of my empire rests upon you, members. Please do me proud. Please don't let me down now. Yeah, I've got the distinct feeling that the UK's not really home. They put up a bit of a token defense, but that's about it. I'm also going to turn off all of the allied supply here. I don't want German units in here. If I can, I'm going to extend this war a little bit just so I can get more out of the deal. And just a teeny tiny bit of micro, and the UK should be dead. If not now, then soon. Just walk in there, you go there, you stay here. It's not much, but it is honest work. Whoops. I think a German unit walked into London. Oh well. I think that is all my points spent. I hope I spent them well. Let's see what the peace deal has brought us. Okay, I'm already feeling that something somewhere's gone terribly wrong. Let's first check out the factions. Are the allies gone? No. So Germany fights you on every damn detail, every scrap of land, and as a result, the United Kingdom has survived. But on the bright side, we have a Australian puppet, Malaysian Australia. We have a Kiwi Empire as well, led by John Ormond. And I think we took most, if not all, of the islands we could nearby. I forgot about Tahiti. We did not get Tahiti, and I think I didn't get Pitcairn either. So I missed a couple of things, but on the bright side, look at that navy. Let's justify a war on the French over some land in Indochina. I think I might want some land in Indochina. Justification is done. We are going to declare war on the French as soon as my navy stops exercising. Gonna have them get a little bit of organization because I don't want to lose all of these ships right away. And we are going to set them on naval invasion support on these two tiles. And we're going to be ready, steady, go. We're going to go straight into war here. Shouldn't be too... Oh, there goes Germany. Shouldn't be too difficult to land here. The French do have some troops by now, but honestly not a whole lot. Plus their navy is really at no point ever going to be able to stand up to you. Ever. Should be able to overrun this relatively quickly. Even got some air up. Nice. Mainland Vichy France is defeated, but that is unfortunately not... Oops. That is unfortunately not enough. I also need to take out some, if not all, of their North African holdings, so we'll plan the naval invasion of that as well. Just get this over with. Please, for the love of God, just get this over with. Now, just a quick trip into North Africa. Shouldn't be too hard. Still training some troops. I'd like to have a bit of an army, like numerically a bit of an army, so not just 24 divisions ready when I do want to take a stab at China, because there's just so much China. God, I love my fleet. There we go. Again, I have ships. Well, no, they have ships. I want ships. Free Navy. I'm going to puppet everything except for everything that is either an island in the Pacific or something in Southeast Asia. So I do want a little bit of this and a little bit of that. All right, that is that. Another enemy, another colonizer defeated. People are going to keep embargoing us, so that's cool, I guess. Yeah. And I just bring the army home. I would like to knock out China and then take on Japan, because if I take on Japan first, China has like a whole bunch of war participation against the Japanese, which is annoying. I'll get nothing out of Japan. While if I just help Japan defeat China, I can then come in and like just naval invade them and they'll be dead no matter how many billions of troops they have deployed on the mainland. So that is what I'll do. Let's justify either on Guangxi, that takes 160 days, or on China itself, that just takes 30 days. So China itself it is. Everybody's in position. I have converted one army of port guards into, well, the usual shock troops. Lacking a little bit of artillery, so these guys are not as well equipped as I would have liked, but should be fine to take out the Chinese, right? Let's quickly and aggressively push out towards the victory points and the ports they have, because I want to get those ports into my hands. Let's go. Shouldn't be too difficult. China really is on its last legs by now. They've been going toe-to-toe with the Japanese for quite a while now. And it's been a bloody fight. And we've linked up the two fronts here already, so I'm gonna make the big field marshal order a push for Chongqing. Like, we're never gonna get there. There is no supply in this region until we get to Nanning. Invading China is and always will be a bitch. It's not fun. It's tedious. Yeah, I have regrets. I have major regrets about what I do. What the heck? Oh my god, I've pushed into the one supply hub I could reach. Alright, let's quickly build a railway south so it can actually get some supply. We're on the outskirts of Chongqing. Might actually take the city. That means I would just need like Liangshan or Sichuan up there. In terms of victory points, there's just so much in China as well. Wow, Germans have pushed into Stalingrad, 1942. Yeah, this is looking like a big win for the Axis as well. Not even having to intervene myself, they are pushing in. It does seem to help that there is no UK for them to deal with. Definitely helps. It's done. China has capitulated and it was awful. Do they have ships? No, I don't want any of their ships. Do I want a puppet? I would like a Chinese puppet, I think. Do I want to occupy the land or do I want to puppet? I say I want to puppet. Let's see what we got out of the deal. really stupid reorganized government of China. And then we have a China that's still in the Chinese United Front. Oh, I hate it when the AI does this. So again, Japan fought me over a couple of tiles for so much that they just stopped taking land. Like, I ran out of points because I had like 10% participation, but Japan had a lot more participation, as did their other puppets, but they just stopped taking land when I stopped doing things in the turn. So that as a result, you have a stupid reorganized government of China with like patches of China in between because Japan just stopped taking land. It's so stupid. Oh well, I should be able to break the non-aggression pact soon. July. So a couple more months and I'll be able to break the non-aggression pact. Shouldn't be too difficult. I don't have a border with them except for like here. If I stack troops on the border there, that will count, I think. Oh no, because of how the stupid border mechanics work, I got my troops stuck in these patches of China. Oh, that's like half an army. See if I can improve relations and put like a spy on diplomatic pressure, if that does anything. I'm also going to put a spy on Japan. Start plotting our naval invasion. Oh, I'm so annoyed. The game is just plotting against me at this point. It's just so annoying. Let's just start planning for that invasion then. The members are going to go in and we're going to go in hard. Hopefully hard enough to knock Japan down a peg or two. And if you guys want to see how this turns out, stick around for part 2, which is coming soon, TM, or it's already here depending on when you're watching this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this part at least, and I hope you'll enjoy part 2 or my other videos as well. See ya.